Hello, welcome. It is me, Danyell Carmelita, your favorite tarot reader and astrologer. Today we are talking about Trump because Trump's birthday is coming up. So this means that he has a brand new solar return chart for us to look at. We have a fresh profection chart that we are going to look at, and it's going to talk about the year. I'm also going to talk about some eclipse energy and how that's going to target him. In this video, I'll walk by month astrology breakdown for him, and I'm going to go all the way until August of 2025. And this is going to include some major transits. I'm going to discuss predictions, political and personal as well. And we'll also look at the inauguration chart because I'm always referring back to that to discuss the presidency and what we have to look forward to the next 4 years. So if you are here for that, then you are at the right place, and let's get started.
3, 2, 1.
I love you.
Before we get into our Mr. Trump, I wanted to talk about the full moon. I briefly discussed this, and I went too fast over it and I didn't discuss everything that was in my notes. So I'm going to bring it back to the forefront. I actually am going to put the full moon in here. The date of the full moon is the what is this? May 26th. So we'll go into the full moon. I mean, not the full moon, the new moon. So this is the chart for the new moon in Gemini, and it is going to be on the 26th. Today, as I am filming this live, it is on the 22nd. Don't worry, we are going to get into Trump in a minute, but I want you to understand that this new moon is, first of all, it's a minor grand trine. So here is the new moon. It is conjunct Mercury, and we also have it sextiling Mars. No. Where is my new moon? Why did I have it? It's sextiling this energy. What's missing here? I thought I saw. Oh, here we go. All right. Okay. So it's involved in a minor grand trine. So here's the energy. This energy here, this conjunction Neptune and Saturn is sextiling the new moon. And then this is also sextiling Pluto. And then that is also trining this new moon. Okay. So this new moon in Gemini is going to be very positive. It is a great new moon. The Sabian symbol for this new moon is at 6 degrees. So we look at the 7th degree of the Sabian symbol, and it's an old-fashioned well. And its keywords is for regeneration, transformation, a self-renewal, and really putting yourself first and changing. And also the theme is pure thought, aligned voices, strategic vision, and powered expression. And there's initiation and there's motion. This is a great time for motivation. Also, manifestation. Also, I was talking to a friend earlier, and she was saying that manifestation is magic. She's a Christian. So manifestation is magic, and without God and faith, then manifestation doesn't work. I do believe in manifestation. At the same time, I believe that you pray and then you get up, you move, and you do the work. So you can write and journal and say these are the things you want. It's just like the Eat, Pray, Love book that I read years ago, and she did a story about like this person constantly playing the lottery, and she would pray to the Buddha like every day, like, please let me win the lottery, please let me win the lottery. And then the Buddha one day, after many years of every day praying to the Buddha is finally like, if you don't go play it instead of just sitting here and praying, then then it won't happen. So with manifestation, you do have to put in the work. And when you put in the work, then you do see some long-term improvement. Now, but with this new moon, because we have this minor grand trine, first of all, it's very positive. It is also conjunct Mercury. And when it's conjunct Mercury, then you're really talking about a strong mercurial energy. Okay. So it's very potent when it comes to communication, the mindset and shifting that, and strategic writing, launches, rewiring, how you process and share information. And also too, Jupiter is in the sign Gemini, so there's a lot of luck and expansion, and it's a very benefic planet, meaning it is really positive. So there is a lot of positivity aligned with this. And yes, the minor grand trine, first of all, is when I told you it's two sextiles, right? Two sextiles involved with also a trine here. So And it's going to support and it's going to bring you something very natural. It's going to bring you mental clarity and it meets your purpose. It's going to make your dreams have some structure. There'll be some collective shifts if possible, because this can help some conversations come out. And the minor grand trine also will speaks of new beginning of a voice or a message or a contract coming out or connections or ideas. Again, writing, teaching, sharing, technology, social media, public speaking, rebranding, storytelling. All of this is going to be very positive. And if there's something, I did the horoscopes with the new moon when I did the Gemini video. So go check that out. I'll link it down below. But you're supported with turning some inspiration into a mission. And also, too, there's discipline. Anytime you have Saturn involved here, there's discipline with this and it's positive with it. Okay. Now it's trining that it's trining Pluto. When you have Pluto, you have some intensity, you have some transformation. There is a rebirth, there is a change happening. It's cutting through the noise. It's not getting on the surface level. It's getting deep. So there's some type of intellectual, communicative, sharing, social media, transformation, even power or intensity in a good way. Okay, so collectively, there is a communicative reset happening and it's going to shape the future, or maybe there is a conscious awareness of learning something or awareness of sharing some intellectual information. There's data, there's media, there's truth revolution. We need to know what we know. Okay. Again, a lot of writing, a lot of communication, a lot of speaking, something dealing with social media. Also, Gemini is about teaching, and what you learn, you teach or you share or you coach. Also, rebranding and rewriting and redoing, reinventing your voice, or reinventing or writing that website or that whatever the brand it is that is launching, or you're starting to develop the details of it. Okay. Yeah, also too, there is a spiritual aspect. There's compassion, there's love, there's oneness added to this, and it's aligned with your mindset and it's aligned with long-term energy. Okay. This is a great time to journal. This is a great time for affirmations, and it's all going to connect with anything that you're manifesting. Now, the new moon is not the time that you do. So this is not the time that you launch the project, even though I keep saying launching. This is the time that you plan and write it all down. So during this new moon in Gemini, write it all down. And then after that, then you move forward. After the new moon on the 26th of 8:02 p.m. in Los Angeles, after that, then the next day, you get all your ducks in order, you organize, you plan, you do all that stuff. Okay. Now, before we dive in, if you want a bonus breakdown like this, exclusive political astrology updates, or any type of extended forecast, because I break it down. I've talked about Gavin Newton. I talked about Karen Bass. I talked about Kanye. I'm going to talk about Tory Lanez, and even Justin Bieber coming out. But join my private community. That's where that is going to be. And a link is down below. I get more tea, and I'll even break down the new moon even more. Okay, so now we are talking about President Trump. Some people like to call Mr. Trump here, and we are going to break down his current transits. Okay, now when we get to his transits, I do want to say there's a lot of information that I have here, so have patience on me. And then I was really frustrated today because I realized I didn't have his exact chart. Even maybe I had two charts on him. Hold on one second. I had two charts on Trump, and that really annoyed me. Oh, actually, too, I want to add. Let me add his ¿Dónde está? Let me add his solar return chart on here. I don't know how to use the solar return chart. I saved it on my notes. I don't know how to put my solar return, any type of solar return chart on my desktop. How do I save? Download. Okay. On my current chart. So that really annoys me. So let me add this. Download IMG. Hold up. Wait a minute. Okay. Which one is this? This is 1-in-1. I'm hoping this is the chart. Let's see. And I'm going to break down his solar. Is this it? I'm thinking that's it. Okay. All right. So sorry about all that. I could have played a commercial and tried to figure it out, but here we go. So now let's talk about his current business. Okay. What is currently going on with Trump? I am going to put what's going on now here. And we are going to break it down. Currently, Jupiter is in Gemini. It is conjunct his sun. This is what's bringing him all the blessings, all the luck, all the prosperities. Okay. He is really going off of his faith and communicating a lot of abundance. And he's born in the daytime. So Jupiter is very positive. If you're born at nighttime, Venus is positive for you. So Jupiter is working for you. It's on top of his sun. He is doing the best. He is enjoying this. Okay. He's on top. It's on top of his Gemini sun. It's giving him optimism. It's giving him influence. It's the public is on his side for the most part. Also, it's a lot of confidence, a lot of momentum. And yeah, it's renewed and all that stuff. Now, the new moon, because we talked about the Gemini new moon and I told you what it means and what it and all the things that it can bring. The new moon is going to happen in his 11th house. It's happening around 7 degrees, so 6 degrees. So it's over here, not really touching much of his personal planets, but because it's in his 11th house, you're talking about fresh beginnings with alliances or followers or groups or political goals or network based kind of thing or anything dealing with his future and the hopes and dreams. A lot of donations and influencers, a lot of support is with that. Also, to that new moon is going to sextile Saturn and Neptune and that grand trine. Now, this is in his 9th house. The 9th house is dealing with either some legal matters, so that can be very positive for him, or it's something dealing with, around the country. So, dealings with other people from other countries. So, of course, that is what I think is more dealing with, and it's working for him. And then it's trining that Pluto. This Pluto could represent his open enemies, really. And who is his open enemy? I'm sure there's a lot of open enemies that he has. I'm not really into politics, so I'm sure there's some other countries, but so this could be giving some power towards them, and it's really working really well. At the same time, if we're talking about him just having some balance and harmony, there is some intensity there and some transformation with him learning how to balance, or even some power struggles and having some energy that's very positive with that. Okay. And then that Mars in Leo is conjunct his ascendant currently. Well, it's not conjunct because I have the time wrong, so we won't say that. But I do want you to know when Mercury starts to retrograde in Leo, we'll see some interesting things happening for him. But when that Mars comes over towards this way, and we'll do it by week, when Mars gets closer and it conjuncts his ascendant, and that's going to be around June, he's going to be more bold. Okay, get ready for the confrontations, the defiant, the asserting, the stubbornness, some bravery, some aggression, some impulsivity. Yeah, get ready for a more strength as far as him being president and him being bold and not being very stubborn in the things that he wants to do. Yeah, and then Mars conjunct the Mars, it's just going to be, get ready for early June. Okay, early June, we get some more intensity. I do want you to know that Pluto retrograding in that 7th house, there could be some power struggles with others. You're talking about, this is about his open enemies. I find that the open enemies, this represents the open enemies. So they have some power, they have some intensity, they have the energy of controlling freedom of speech, or him talking or him communicating in some way, or something dealing with some technology, or the future regarding Trump just being him in presidency. Okay. And then Neptune and Aries, they both have entered the building in his 9th house. And this is, dealing with a lot of truth. This is dealing with philosophy. This is also dealing with things from other countries. And now there is illusion, there is fog. And also, too, there's a heavy burden added onto this here. Neptune in the 9th house is bringing some vague beliefs, some victim narratives, and maybe even some inspired messaging that he is giving on a platform, and he's really producing it. But this is misunderstood too energy. So he could have some misunderstood visionary kind of energy, or legal issues, as well as what the 9th house is. And there could be some confusion with legal issues, or some secret legal issues coming his way, potential for confusion around international dealings, courts, or any type of ideological consistencies. Okay. Yeah, so he has that. And then that Saturn there is a reality check, with any type of legal energy or hard lessons, or very slow, or delays or restrictions, or even being accountable with anything legal. So let's see how he thrives with the Saturn far as anything he's dealing with law, but also to restrictions from other countries and other policies from other countries, international countries as well. So that is what we have currently. Okay. This is currently. Now let's get into his solar return. We'll do the solar return chart first. I'm going to bring it up because of course I don't know how to show it other than on my cell phone app. Okay. But I just want you to know, in his solar return chart, if you look at the 10th house, that is where the sun is. And first of all, a solar return chart. Let me just explain. A solar return chart is cast for the exact moment the sun returns to your natal position each year. So you put his exact birthday. I use a computer system. You can. I'm sure there's a way you can calculate it through. Why do I have? Oh, is this not? No. Why am I dark? There's like a dark fog here. I wonder why I'm dark over there. Oh, hello there. Oh, is this still on the screen? Okay, so let's see if I put this. Do you guys see, like, you see, why is there this shade here? That really bugs me. Anyway, okay. Well, we'll just pretend it's not there. It probably doesn't bug you guys, but it's bugging me. Anyway, solar return chart is when you cast it on exact birthday, okay, of each year. If you have a birthday coming up, you want a solar return chart. I don't think I have that on my website, but I can put it on there and we could do a solar return chart reading. Anyway, but it's great to get every time it's your birthday, because it shows some major themes, some events, and some energies, particularly from that birthday to the next birthday year. So it gives you what's happening externally, because the sun represents the sun within that year. So think like the forecast of the weather, and you get it for the whole year. It tells you what's playing out publicly and visibly, um, and around the whole year. Okay, so now we're going to talk about Trump. Now, Trump, where the sun is, that really matters. And the sun is in that 10th house. And the 10th house represents his career, reputation, public image, front and center. He's really on stage. Everyone's looking at him. This is going to highlight a year of messaging and speeches and deals and all that things that he does when he talks, but now it's involving his career. This is like someone who, if someone who wasn't president had this, they will be writing a book, they would be having a podcast, because you have that Gemini, or they will really be teaching or giving lessons, but they're on stage. Now I do think maybe more social media for him, and it's going to be more, I don't want to say the word intense, but it's going to help him become more progressively like he's going to work harder in it. And you know, the 10th house is about building and stacking, so you can have some long-term energy, and it's really about his public image. And so he's going to be more in the public. I know, how can you be more in the public and you're Trump and you're the president? But there's more public scrutiny. Trump's actions and decisions are likely to be under more than ever. This could lead to both acclaim or criticism, or maybe even both, depending on how he decides to navigate the weathers. But this is also some career developments happening for this year. Now, Mercury is the ruler of his sun, and that Mercury is in the 11th house. I can't point to it, but you see it, and it's sitting next to Jupiter. And Mercury is in 11th house. And 11th house is a lot of strategy with allies and networks and public opinion. It's also dealing with the future and science and space. So that could be all involving and helping him in regards to his career. Also, Mercury is sitting next to Jupiter, which again is very positive for him. So this is really good. It has a wide conjunction there, but a lot of things dealing with Trump when his birthday comes up. And then his birthday is actually, when is his birthday? Do you see it on here? Hold up. Trump's actual birthday is June 14th. Okay. So his birthday is coming up in less than a month. So when this happens, hit after June 14th and on until the next June 14th. Okay. This is what you have. He's going to be dealing with a lot of networks, a lot of allies, a lot of public platforms. Again, public political alliances, a lot of social movements, things dealing in groups. So I know we talk about Democrats and Republicans, but it's like another group. And I don't know, he could be creating a group of some sort, but a lot of online platforms, a lot of campaign networks, a lot of communication is going to be driven, and it's going to be the focus. Again, you know how he went to all those podcasts to do all his elections to win. It's like it's giving the same energy. Okay, so it's like he's back on a podcast and he's a president, so maybe he'll be running a lot of podcasts. Maybe there'll be something involving emails and messaging, or him tweeting, but it's stronger. It is the main focus of his year. There is highlighted energy with it. Okay, now Jupiter is involved, so it's either going to magnify it, make it even more expansive, more bigger, or it's going to bring him a lot of luck. Okay, I'm sorry if you don't like Trump, but Jupiter sitting there is giving him a positive aspect with the ruler of his perfection year, and yeah, it's a lot of positive. So a major focus on reactivating some alliances or groups, or maybe he's going to be a bigger Republican, or starting. I wouldn't say starting because the Aries is over there, but something with a group, or a network of some sort. Okay, messages will be heavy, and what else do we have? Do I have here? Let me see if I have any predictions. Oh, also too, his moon is in the sign Capricorn. It is a major year for him to focus on him being president, and not just president, but his career and him having long-term legacy. So something's going to happen this year, and it's going to make him have a legacy. Okay, so this might be the best year of his presidency, whether you like him or not. There's something that's going to happen because he's going to be disciplined. He's going to give results. He's going to be controlled. I mean, can you control him? Again, we're used to him having a self promotion, but it's going to be even stronger because the moon is in the sign Capricorn. The sun is in the 10th house. A lot of Capricorn energies, and they're thinking about long-term energy. They're thinking about building the structure, the infrastructure, a lot of mentor energy. Now he has Venus in the 9th house. So the relationship with foreign affairs and even some legal matters, that could be more of a focus, again, with his birthday. So connecting with more international, which just makes me think of Israel. But maybe even I know he just recently did a tour in the Middle East. Maybe even something involving that. So also too, I want to tell you that this is a Virgo rising, and when you have a Virgo rising, that means during this year, there's going to be a high focus on either his health, but him getting better at his health, or focus on his health, or maybe he's more refined. Maybe he decides not to be orange anymore. He has a better tan, or his physical presence could be improving. He will be more serious about his branding. He's going to be more serious about controlling and being like the details and being a perfectionist. Yeah, or maybe even changing his health routine. Let's see within this year if he loses some weight. Okay. Now, this is a mutable sign too. So there's a lot of ups and downs with this. Okay. Now, his fourth house is going to be the sign of Sagittarius. And when you have the fourth house in the sign of Sagittarius, then the fourth house governs, foundation, even his physical home. But the foundation is going to be more about America first, right? But in a very faith-based and huge and expansive. Sagittarius is very optimistic, so I feel like he's going to be more optimistic about America and the goings on of America. Seventh house is in the sign Pisces. Pisces is dealing with some things that, I don't want to make Pisces seem like it's doomsday, but it gives a little sense of insecurity. So I find that his open enemies, the people we know, there would be some insecurity in regards to his relationship with them, or maybe some more unclear. He's going to have some fogginess. It's going to be deceptive. Betrayal, a lot of martyrdom, a lot of not forgiving, or maybe even forgiving. Maybe he'll forgive. Okay, it can go either way. But as Jupiter is sitting on Mercury, so I think there's a lot of communication happening. Jupiter is the ruler of Pisces, if you don't know. A lot of communication is happening over there. And then too, I think that North Node over there is the descendant of the North. The North Node is sitting over there in that seventh house. So there's something in the future in regards to relationships, like public matters or even legal, that's going to happen. But there's secrets and deception and corruption and conspiracy theories, and just lost in the sauce with that. So let's see how that goes, what happens with that. And then the 10th house, again, is his career, and that's where the midheaven is, and it is in the sign Gemini. So a lot of communication about himself and his reputation and being a leader. He might have more multiple roles, like a president here. Is that even possible? Or maybe dual messaging. Okay, you know how you say, well, you may not, but the stereotype is that Gemini is two-faced, but they flip-flop, okay, because they're like, oh, I understand your side, I understand your side. You know what? Can we do both sides? There's like this split perception, or like maybe split messaging that could be happening. Yeah, or again, a lot of talking more than ever is what you get when you have his solar return. So yeah, and it's going to be all involving his career. Okay, his career as president. Now let's go on to back to his chart here, and I'm going to bring up his perfection chart. And his perfection chart, let me see what we have here. Oh, okay. So actually, I'm not going to show the chart. Well, okay, we'll show the chart. Okay, so his perfection chart is going to be in charge. He's turning, how old is he turning? 79 this year. 79. How old is Biden? I need to quickly do something on Biden because Cancer. I know I did Biden before, and I said he had health issues when we were doing his debate. I believe that Biden knew he had health issues when he did that first debate with Trump. Just so you know, I remember saying that I think he's on a medication, and I think he was on a medication for cancer. I think he pretty okay. Anyway, I have to relook at that video, pull out some clips, because I'm pretty sure there was a prediction there regarding Biden's health because it's already been a longstanding thing. Anyway, but I don't think you have to be an astrologer or a tarot reader to know that about that. But Trump turns 79 this year, and 79 is in charge of the 8th house. And the 8th house is, and Jupiter is the ruler of the 8th house. Okay. So wherever Jupiter is going to involve Trump. Let me actually put what's happening now. So wherever Jupiter is going to involve Trump. And Jupiter is about to quickly come into the sign Cancer. So it's going to enter that 12th house. So Jupiter is, the 8th house is Pisces theme. And then also Jupiter is in the 12th house, which is associated with Pisces themes. But if we're just going off of the 8th house, within this year, and the difference between a perfection chart and a solar chart, okay? An annual perfection chart is the house that rules over the year. Okay? The sun, which we were doing a solar chart, is the highlighted things, a lot of things that you see publicly, okay? The perfection chart is what is part of the natal chart that's activated internally. It's the storyline and karma being activated. It tells you in the area of your life that the core focus and lesson of that year is, okay? So that is the difference between a solar return chart and a perfection chart. So a solar return chart, you can ask people like, did this happen to me this year? Did you notice that? And they would notice that because they're seeing that. So that's what we have for his solar return. Now for his perfection chart, which we're about to discuss now, these are the things that's going to be dealing with Trump's karma. These are the things that he's going to be learning. And it's in his 8th house, okay? I want you to understand, I'm just going to throw this out here, that the 8th house does represent mortality. It does represent death. It does represent rebirth. I do want you to know that. Now, it doesn't mean that he's going to physically die this year. It could possibly mean that there is a rebirth, a rebrand, a transformation, okay? Could be a transfer in power. Just throwing that out there because that's also what it can represent. The 8th house represents, let me tell you all the themes that's going to be affecting Trump. Power, control, loss, transformation, debt, taxes, other people's monies, financial entanglements, psychological issues, things that are very taboo, the things that are very mysterious and mystery. So like, the trash you try to throw away so no one can hide. Well, the skeletons in the closet, that is 8th house themes. Also any type of karmic inheritances. And I said shared resources already, okay? This is a year of letting go, facing consequences, negotiating high stakes of transition. This is a year for Trump to have shared power, hidden truths, behind the scenes dealings, because you're dealing with Neptune being a ruler and you're dealing with Jupiter being a ruler, okay? So Neptune, let's say Neptune is a modern traditional ruler, and let's see where Neptune is in the chart. Neptune is in that 9th house. So a lot of things currently dealing with things that are around the world, okay? Again, he's the president. We don't, that's not a shocker, but having empathy for our, not empathy, compassion for people from around the world, or a new leader that's starting, or a new found love for other countries, makes me think of how he visited the Middle East, but it does that too. But also too, you have hidden enemies, spiritual debts, collected karma, illusions around control, or victim narratives. You have that. Now, Jupiter is the Time Lord. Okay, because I was taught that you go off of the traditional ruler, but I always throw in a modern ruler. Okay, now the traditional ruler is going to be turning into the sun Cancer, sign Cancer. Currently it's in Gemini, and it'll probably be in Gemini. when does it turn? Well, whatever. We'll do Cancer because that's really where it's going to be that whole year. And when it enters Cancer, you're dealing with 12th house themes. Now, this is where the things also, 12th house, I'm going to just tell you, also means endings. It means releasing. Okay. So there could be an ending here. Have to throw that out there. But also, too, it represents isolation, secrecy. It represents imprisonment. It represents hidden enemies. It represents undoing and death. I said crisis. What else do we have here? Yeah, 12th house is a house that you really don't want as a president. However, it could represent conspiracy theories and things that you want secretive. So there's probably some things that he's probably going to work on this year. I'm not going to say probably that he's going to work on this year that are very behind the scenes and we don't know what's going on. Or maybe there's a lot of things of confusion and lost in the sauce. It's in the sign Cancer. Cancer represents home. It represents homeland. It represents past. So things from his past could be a secret. Things from his past could be buried away. Now, when the sun hits Cancer, there'll be highlighted themes in it. So we'll see how that plays out for him. Or anytime anytime there's awareness to the Cancer, any type of Cancer, or even the a new moon, a full moon, an eclipse, all that's going to affect that Jupiter. And so we may be seeing some things connected to that. But the 12th house, because you have it in the sign Jupiter, there could be some legal things here and it could be ending, or it could be sealed, or it could be hidden. That also could be a thing as well. Okay, let me see. Financial and legal matters could be an issue, but we may not see it. Taxes, debt, and legal issues, settlements that could be happening. Public messaging, focus on family values because you're dealing with Cancer energy. Yeah, but that is just as a collective. But yeah, a personal transformation as well because you are dealing with that 8th house theme. Okay, I do predict that there will be more isolation for Trump. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna pull some cards here too. What do we have to say for his solar chart? We have disruption here, chaos. Okay, immediately things are going to be very disruptive happening for him, and we're going to be able to see it. Some of you guys are happy about that. Far as his perfection year, and that is something that's more dealing with his karma. There looks like there is going to be things that he's going to find someone he's more aligned with, and that doesn't mean like a woman. It could be someone like a therapist. It could be relationship to himself or relationship with God, because this is also dealing with spirituality too. There could be a transformation happening to him in regards to God. Let me see if that's even possible. There is a huge transformation. You see death. Now, this literally could mean death too, but I'm thinking there could be some transformation or a rebirth for Trump happening within this year because for that Jupiter entering that 12th house does represent spirituality. So he could probably be pushing more of his religion and his belief, you guys. So that would be interesting. Now let's go by Trump as of month by month. Okay, so let's see what we have for the end of May. Okay, so around the end of May, we have Mercury and the Sun in Gemini. Every time I do a podcast, you guys, I am craving matcha. I'm trying not to have matcha, and I switch matcha to kombucha, and I want matcha right now, you guys. Anyway, and I'll tell you my perfection. With my solar return this year, it's got a heavy Venus aspect. Okay, so all I want is the best food. Anyway, but back to Trump. Sorry. Okay, so at the end of May, we are dealing with some sudden public surges and some mental fireworks. Okay, so the 11th house is very much activated here, and you see, this is the energy right here that made Trump win presidency. I just want you to know that this is the energy of podcasting, and he had a lot of luck on his side. Now, Jupiter is going to move on over here to Cancer, and it's going to be more secretive, private, maybe more religious, maybe more spiritual happening as well. But you have the Sun coming over here, you have Mercury coming over here, you have Uranus coming over to Gemini. So a lot of things still focusing on his Sun because it's going to bring highlighted stuff to it, but it will be more verbal, it will be more debating, more arguing, because debating is also doing that. But you have Mercury and the Sun in Gemini will enter his 11th house, joining the North Node, his stallion here. And it's going to be heightened more influence, more messaging, more social media. So just get ready for that. Even with that Kazemi, there could be a sudden announcement happening. And that is going to be towards the end of May. Okay. I know we're already here. Just get ready for that. Let me see exactly. Yeah, so beginning of June, end of May, he could be having a sudden announcement or a media surprise, or maybe like very disruptive, unexpected communication happening for him. Mercury is going to conjunct Jupiter at 29 degrees. That is going to be the biggest. Okay, so right here, Mercury, you see it's at 29 degrees, and it's going to conjunct Jupiter, and it's going to be sitting in by his sun, and there is going to be an urgency. So I do think there is coming up, there is going to be like, hurry up, get this message out. I got to hurry up because 29 degrees is urgency. Hurry up, close it out before it jumps into Cancer. We got to hurry up. Okay. So something viral could be happening, or something dealing with a network, something dealing with his political party. It's not his campaign, but yes. So something dealing with that. Now, if we go to June here, let's move on to June. What do we see? A lot of now all that energy jumps over to the 12th house. In the 12th house, you have this same conjunction here. Mercury conjuncts the Jupiter, and when it happens in a 12th house, there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes. Okay, a lot of secrets, a lot of conspiracies, a lot of private influences, legal entanglements, things that we cannot see, but they're discussing it. Also, even could be some debates behind the scene. Okay, a lot of communication, less tweeting. Well, if he's tweeting, it's foggy and deceptive. It's not really what's going on. These things we cannot see. He could have a secret relationship as well. We can't see it, or maybe the relationship is more serious behind scenes with him and Melania. We can't see it. I've never done her. Is Melania the daughter or the wife? But whatever. I've never done the first lady's chart. I try to respect who they are. Like I respect Yay, calling him Yay. But regardless if I agree, whatever what's going on. But I don't know. This is behind the scenes. We can't see it. I just want you to know that, unless when it is Cancer season, we'll see a little bit, because the sun's going to come over here and highlight some more of the secrets. You guys pay attention when it hits there. But I do want you to understand that when Jupiter hops over to the 12th house, because it will in June, then a lot of doings are happening behind the scenes. He's getting more good luck behind the scenes. We just won't be able to see it. Okay. Now, during July, so now we're in July, there is an identity crisis happening here. There's a new narrative, and Uranus has now entered the building, and it's going to add some shockwaves. So now Uranus is on top of here. He has whatever he tweets, whatever he's sending out, he's getting support, because Venus is what your supporters, and people are like, oh my gosh, I love it. So July 17th, middle of July, a lot of support in anything he tweets. But when Uranus hits that 12th 11th house, then you are getting some expected, unexpected, a lot of impulsive tweeting, messaging, campaigning. He's not campaigning, but speeches, all that. Okay, but in this first house of self-image and power projection, Mercury is going to be retrograding. So let me see when Mercury retrogrades. Yeah, Mercury is going to be retrograding. Let me see. It's definitely going to hit his Pluto. Okay, so Mercury is going to be retrograding in Leo. It doesn't hit his ascendant, but it does hit that Pluto, and it's going to be intense. So something, I would say, negative, or something he has to redo, or something he has to repeat, something he's doing over and over again, or it's not working its best. Okay, and it's involving something with his persona. So he could be redoing or redefining his persona. Maybe there's a speech and he's got to re-say it, or he messed up, or is very combative, because when Leo retrogrades, it's all about the fight. So he could be becoming more intense when it comes to a fight. But there could be a transformation, because this does represent transformation. It does represent giving speeches of death. Okay, so he could be giving a speech of a death of a president. That could be possible. So we could be talking about Biden as well. That could be also a thing too. Also too, in August, here we have, let me see, 7th house, full moon. It's not here, but we have the full moon that's going to happen August 9th. Let me see, let's go back. 7th, oh, here we go. So you see the moon is about to come here. It's going to be a full moon in Aquarius, and this happens in the 7th house. Let me see what, let me actually see when is the full moon. It says August 9th, calculate second chart. It's not close to. Is it close to his? No, it's not close to his MC. But just know that there is a full moon happening in his seventh house that does represent his open enemies. So there could be something very emotional happening, far as like because Aquarius just represents social media happening with his open enemies. And the open enemies are anyone who, whatever country or someone he's not getting along with publicly. We could be seeing that happening in August, some tension with either some legal partners or something public with his opponents, and maybe they can't speak up, and they're maybe he's actually getting something positive representing that, or there's something emotional or something representing the people, because the moon does represent the people as well. Let me see what else we have here. Yeah, so that was, oh, let me go over the eclipse real quick. Okay, so that is the most of what I've seen, just like going over quickly. I want you to understand that Mercury is going to retrograde and it's going to be touching here, not really touching his planet, but really touching his Pluto. This is intense. This is his reason why I am that kind of energy, but this machismo energy, this intensity of having power, and I did that. I did that. Everyone look at me kind of energy, and this is his leadership, and Mercury is going to retrograde on top of that. So we'll see how that goes. Now, Jupiter, I want you to understand, will be entering his 12th house. So all this fame and all this public tweeting and podcasts and speeches, that will kind of die down. It will be more behind the scenes. Even though we have Uranus coming and entering the building. But when it comes and enters that 11th house, you're going to see Trump more impulsive than ever. It's going to be crazy. A lot of shocking messages coming while Uranus is in Gemini as well. Now, far as the eclipse, let me see if I can pull the eclipse here for Trump. So far as the eclipse here, the first eclipse we have is what eclipse? A lunar total eclipse, and it happens September 7th. And it's going to happen in his 8th house. I don't see it touching. It's not going to affect him as much. You're talking about eclipse in Pisces. Now, I do know that, remember his one of the perfection year or his solar return. No, the perfection year is dealing with Pisces. So let's see how that plays out. Look, Saturn is going to be retrograding at 29 degrees in Pisces. For the collective, this is huge. With this eclipse sitting there is an urgency and some type of limitation or karma coming back to bite the collective and ASSS. Okay. But far as Trump, I don't see it hitting. It's quincunx, his ascendant. So this is him personally, and there are some limitations. Again, this could represent death. For sure, because it does represent 29. His ascendant is at 29 degrees. That is a possibility. Now, the thing is, but it could mean an ending of something. So not just like a death, but like an ending of like a divorce, okay? Or like an ending of a partnership. It's the 8th house, and the 8th house represents more for, if we're talking about Trump finances or something dealing with a mystery that could be ending, or something like a taboo thing, or finances of some sort. Okay, so there could be like an ending of some type of financial thing, but it's very serious. It's dealing with his karma, and so we have that. And this is also the eclipse cuts things out because you're going the wrong direction. God's like, oh, listen, you're going the wrong direction, we're going this way. So like the Hamas and the Israel attack, that happened during the eclipse. Okay, so this can happen. Now, eclipse, it doesn't happen a day of it. It happens, the energy is like within 6 months, and however long the eclipse is really how long the energy lasts. But that is what we have. It's going to quincunx. Let me see. Does it quincunx anything else besides his ascendant? Let me see. 15 degrees. Maybe the Chiron, some healing here. No. Okay. Let me see. Sextile square. It's not going to work good with his ego, this eclipse, and it's in Pisces, so the themes are endings. The themes are death. Let me pull a card on this. Let's see what we got for Trump with this eclipse. And eclipse is going to be September 7th. Look at this. I keep saying death. To me, this looks like the end of something. If you don't see this here, this card is like the person is laying here. Words are stabbed in their back. So I don't want to keep saying that he's going to pass away, but there is an ending of some sort happening here. Okay, so we'll just leave it at that. But yeah, and it's in the sign Pisces. We'll see how that goes. And usually, sometimes eclipse does represent death of a leaders. This is from traditional times, but every time there's an eclipse does not mean that a leader dies. However, we have had some in recent times within an eclipse as well too. Now the next eclipse, but let's say that doesn't happen, I do think there's some type of ending. This is representing transformation of some sort, like a huge change. Okay, and it has to hurry up and change, and he has to release something. This could be either he's going to be very spiritual. That could be a possibility. Okay. Now, the next eclipse we have is on the 21st, because that is eclipse season. And on the 21st, this eclipse, where's the eclipse over here? It is conjunct that south node. So this is something that has to be released. This is dealing with finances or the economy. Let me see. Again, it's at 29 degrees. So that one's going to be intense. I'm going to have to do a video on the eclipse for us, you guys, because this one is an ending of something. Wow. Okay. 29 degrees of eclipse seems very strong to me. Okay. I see that it's sorry for saying several times, but it is squaring his moon. So that means if it's squaring his moon, it's also squaring his sun, because he was born on a full moon, you guys, and he was born during eclipse actually. And that's for anyone born on eclipse is a sign of being a leader of some sort. So this was destined for him. This was in his chart. However, this eclipse here is squaring. It's got a T square, and this is really going to affect Trump. This one, okay, it is a wide T square, so it's 9 degrees apart, and you see here this is like 7 degrees apart from his sun. So it may not affect him as big, but it is going to affect him. I would see that, because there is a challenge, there is tension happening for him. And let's see how this plays out. It's in the second house. The second house is finances. The second house is what he values. It could even represent his voice. It is in a sign Virgo, so there is some health elements adding, our details, our cleansing out, or even charity, because he is supposed to be a charity person, because he works for us. Here we have the 10 of Pentacles. So it makes me think that it's not going to be as negative as I think, as I'm translating it. This represents finances. So this is in the second house. So there could be a change, and it could be happening in regards to finances, and the details of the change of it and the details of it could make the finances better. Okay. For Trump, not for us. This eclipse is connected to his chart. Okay. So yeah, that is what I have. So if I just round it up, major themes that I see for Trump, just rounding out all the predictions that I said. Wait, let me do our presidency. Because who just cares about Trump? Let's see what we have going on for us. So I have the inauguration chart here. And let me remove this chart. Okay, so I want to talk about the inauguration. Now, the reason why I have the inauguration chart is because it talks about Trump being president for the next 4 years. Okay, this is his birthday as president. Okay, even though this is his second time being president, but I do want you to understand that. Now, constantly, I want you to understand that there is an ascendant in Taurus. This makes it really big, because this sets the tone for a lot of things that is very important of what is going to happen for us in the collective. So this is why finances and tariffs and inflation and domestic production is so huge, because it's a Taurus rising. Okay, so you're talking about not just that, but land and food. You're talking about material things that we value. Okay, and now it is a Taurus energy. So now you have that. We're talking about tariffs, but also even material goods, and you see the trade of everything. But also you're talking about make America healthy again. I didn't know what Maha meant. When I kept listening to podcasts, I'm like, why do they keep saying Maha? What is Maha? Okay. But that makes America great again. And JFK is in charge of that. Now, I don't care what political party you are involved in. I think that's a great, you want to take the food coloring out, to each his own. But the food quality, Taurus energy represents the quality of things. Okay. And having farming and domestic food productions and nutritional standards for things, because you don't want this gunk. You actually want quality. And so you have that Taurus rising happening there. So I do want you to understand that there is going to be more things throughout the 4 years that are dealing with Taurus, that are dealing with finances, stocks, banks, things that we value. So whatever you value, this presidency is going to affect it because it has a Taurus rising. Okay, I just want you to know that. And whatever Venus is doing, when Venus is retrograding, is going to affect us. We're going to be like, oh, the presidency is going to affect us. Okay, when Venus has positive aspects, because Venus is in charge of this chart, then it's going to be great for us. Okay, and while this chart happening, you're going to have constant themes of deception, secrets, very serious, and restrictions too, because it's sitting next to Saturn, and it's also in Pisces, of endings and changing things, right, and releasing things. So hence why we have the releasing bad food, releasing how we do things far as with tariffs. These things are just going to happen. What else do we have? Neptune and Saturn in Aries. When I connect it to this chart here, I do want you to know, in the sky currently, Neptune and Aries, or in the sign Aries. Or in the sign Aries, is going to enter that 12th house, and the 12th house does represent secrets, prisons, hidden enemies, spiritual awakening, and Saturn is the discipline. It represents the government. It represents control and structure. Neptune brings the delulu, confusion, secrets, sacrifice. Okay. Aries is the military. It's your identity. It's the self. It's very warlike. It's the ruler of Mars, and Mars is the god of war, is in charge of Aries. Now it has entered the 12th house. So we're going to see some secrecy coming up for this whole presidency during this whole, what do you call? Because it's not just Trump in charge; it's the whole body of the Republicans or whoever. I don't know, what do you call Trump and all his whole team, right? It's the whole team, right? And during this, while you have Neptune and Saturn in entering Aries, then you're going to have some more secrets. You're going to have some more conspiracy theories, some more Delulu energy, hidden enemies, hospitals, prisons, institutions, military intelligence, mental health, addiction, sacrifice. All that are spiritual elements too, all involved with the government. Okay. So again, more fogginess, get aware. But now there's some new conspiracy theories. Okay. Because Aries represents new. Now there is control, restriction, surveillance, and structure is being more tightened, is being more aggressive and assertive, because Aries is very aggressive and assertive. Okay. So some predictions I have: it can increase censorship, information control, psychological warfare, stricter immigration, possible, because I do believe when I said Saturn entering Aries, again, that represents war at the borders. That's just with that placement alone. But within this presidency, I do find that there's some things happening behind closed doors, and they're creating some new restrictions for us, the collective. Get ready for that. Okay. And when Neptune is involved, again, propaganda, creating this false narrative kind of energy, like crafting a narrative, manipulation, all that. Trump is the victim, or someone in his party or his group is a victim kind of energy. But a lot of rise in conspiracy theories. Okay, Cash. Okay. No, nothing. Anyway. So yeah. But it is in Aries, and Aries is very masculine, is very survival of the fittest, is very strong. I wasn't even showing the chart, but I do want you to know that the predictions that we have is a lot of things behind the scenes are going to be happening with this government while these placements are happening, just so you know. Classified operations. And when the sun hits Aries, whenever there's Aries season, we're going to get some more involvement. Whenever there is, let me put the chart back up. Whenever any planet enter Aries, we're going to get the juggler. Whenever any planet enters Capricorn season, we're going to get more information of what they're doing. What kind of business are y'all doing over there? Whenever we hit during Cancer season, we'll see, because it'll just start happening while it's in Cancer season. We'll see how that happens. But definitely, if we have any planets in Libra, there'll be a tug of war of all the things that I just said. It won't be balanced, and maybe we'll see a visual situation happening with that. Okay. Let me see. the rise of invisible enemy narrative, like they're after me, they're after us kind of energy. So we have to have this surveillance, we have to have these secrets, we have to repress people kind of energy. Let me see what else. Whistleblowers, sacrificial people, like saying like, you know what are scapegoats kind of energy. Global shadow conflict, secret operations, drone warfare, non-declared military involvement. Airy adds fire. We don't see the war, but we feel the heat. Is that corny? Anyway, so yeah, that is what we have. Also, too, Uranus is going to enter the second house here. Uranus is in that first house, but it's going to enter that second house. That's where we're going to see fluctuations of things that we value, of the stocks, of the banks, currency, wages, financial systems, collective values, what we prioritize, economic resources, food scarcity. All that's going to happen while Uranus enters the sign Gemini. It enters the sign Gemini July 7th. It will retrograde back in Taurus, but then it'll come back. So get ready to see more economic issues happening while he is president for within the 4 years. Digital currency, that could be changing. Again, tariffs, trades, all that is going to be affected. Crisis of national values, what we value. Gemini is very multiple kind of thing. So more than one. Far as that, America worth, productivity, and purpose, we might be battling over that, or it'll be very unpredictable. I do think the stocks will be very unpredictable once Uranus enters the second house while he is president. I do want you to understand that. Let me see what else we have here. Yeah, okay, so that is what we have. So to put it all in a nutshell, I do think that Trump will probably have a transformation. There will be a sudden shift happening. I did pull the Tower card first. There will be a sudden shift happening, expect the unexpected. It's like lightning happening and things fall apart. And it's because Trump, or maybe even Trump's whole group or the government, is depending on a false structure. Okay, and it could be people that they're aligning with as well. Also, too, I do think he'll be closer to spirituality. I think there'll be a transformation in what he believes, or even an ending or a death of some sort. Because we did have this and it's physically the ending. But finances, I know we have a lot of ups and downs, a lot of things that are very shaky, but I think in the long run the finances will get better. Even though we don't want to go through this, I was telling my friend, telling her about Capricorn and what it represents. And Capricorn is about it's an earth sign, so like things very tangible. When you have an earth sign, you want the tangible results, but not only that, you take your time, right? So you start off by planting a seed, and then you have to water. You can't just plant the seed. You have to water the seed every day. You have to pull the weeds. Let's say it doesn't grow. You're like, why didn't it grow? Well, Capricorn is like, well, what was the lesson? Learn a lesson, and you have to redo it, and you have to repeat the step, because you're not just thinking about the now energy. You're thinking about long-term success energy. And why did I bring that up? Anyway, but far as finances. So when it comes to finances, I do know from what I'm looking at in the chart of everything, I do think that finances long run, even with the tariffs and all that stuff, even would make America healthy again. In the long run, it would be very successful. We would like it. Right now, we don't want it. We don't like it. Who wants to live through this? I want to buy a home. I want to go shopping. I want the best vacations. Yeah, so there is that. So the long run details will be great. Now, as far as everything else, personally for Trump, I do think there is going to be a major change. Again, there's eclipse happening. They're not touching his planets personally. However, it does represent an ending and an urgency. If not for him, definitely for the collective. And he has eighth house placement, so there is a transformation. It does represent death. It does represent rebirth, so that could be a possibility. There is a connection with spirituality. There is a connection with ending or releasing and forgiving, and a lot of behind the scenes and conspiracy theories. Okay, yes, so that is what we have for Trump. He's going to have his solar return. That is why I did it. His birthday is coming up. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Let me see what else I have. If there's any other candidate or anyone else you want me to break down, I still have a list of Rihanna and Chris Brown that I will do within a video. I think because I'm going to do for my private community, I'm doing Tory Lanez for my private community, but I will do Chris Brown and Rihanna. But drop whoever you want me to do, drop their names in the comments, or if you want me to even pull tarot for them. And I'm looking at all the comments, of course, because I don't get it that many. And yeah, and I'll let you, and whatever you want to see next is what I'll do. All right. I will see you guys next time.
Bye bye.